Let me ask you something else. There's been public reporting that Jeffrey Epstein showed people photos of President Trump with half-naked young women. Do you know if the FBI found those photographs in their search of Jeffrey Epstein's safe or premises or otherwise? Have you seen any such thing?
You know, Senator Whitehouse, you sit here and make salacious remarks, once again trying to slander President Trump left and right, when you're the one who was taking money from one of Epstein's closest confidants, I believe, I could be wrong, correct me, Reid Hoffman, who was with Jeffrey Epstein on multiple occasions. And the senator sitting right next to you tried to block the flight logs from being released. Yet you're grilling me on President Trump and some photograph with Epstein?
This may look like another heated exchange, but it's actually a test of whether institutions can confront politically uncomfortable truth. What's really being tested here is whether oversight still functions when powerful names are involved. This raises broader questions about whether justice systems remain neutral when political loyalty enters the room. When critical accountability questions get deflected, it forces us to ask whether political protection is quietly replacing institutional duty. In this video, we'll break down how this moment reveals a deeper struggle between transparency, credibility, and the courage to confront power, and why that matters far beyond the individuals involved.
There were hundreds of suspicious activity reports. Some people would deduce from the fact that they are called suspicious activity reports that there might be suspicious activity. And yet you seem to have looked at 0 of those suspicious activity reports involving Jeffrey Epstein accounts. Let me ask you something else. There's been public reporting that Jeffrey Epstein showed people photos of President Trump with half-naked young women. Do you know if the FBI found those photographs in their search of Jeffrey Epstein's safe or premises or otherwise? Have you seen?
What we're seeing here is oversight doing what it was designed to do, demanding clarity where political influence might exist. This matters because when certain subjects become untouchable, accountability collapses. If leadership cannot answer direct institutional questions, it signals a dangerous shift from public duty to political shielding, and that erodes public trust in the justice system.
Any such thing?
You know, Senator Whitehouse, you sit here and make salacious remarks, once again trying to slander President Trump left and right, when you're the one who was taking money from one of Epstein's closest confidants, I believe, I could be wrong, correct me, Reid Hoffman, who was with Jeffrey Epstein on multiple occasions. And the senator sitting right next to you tried to block the flight logs from being released. Yet you're grilling me on President Trump and some photograph with Epstein?
This matters because when accountability questions are met with deflection rather than clarity, it signals weakness, not strength. Institutions exist to answer hard questions, not dodge them. If the response to oversight is to attack the person asking, we're watching a system choosing political self-preservation over transparency. And that sets a dangerous precedent.
Come on.
The question is, did the FBI find those photographs that have been discussed publicly by a witness who claimed Jeffrey Epstein showed them to him? You don't know anything about that? Okay. Here's what well, no, we cut to something else. The Marshal Service is supposed to protect our federal judges. I have asked repeatedly for the Marshals.
This moment matters because persistence in oversight is essential to prevent institutions from becoming performative. It shows that real democratic accountability depends not on politeness, but on insistence. When leaders refuse to answer, the only safeguard left is relentless questioning. Otherwise, power simply goes unquestioned.
Service to let me know if they are investigating or being inhibited from investigating whether or not there is orchestration of threats against federal judges, whether under either conspiracy laws or racketeering enterprise laws or aiding and abetting laws, whatever. But as you know, there's the person who says the threat, and then there may very well be somebody orchestrating the threat behind them. Is the Marshal Service allowed to investigate orchestration of threats? And do you know if they've taken one step to do so?
May I answer the question, Chairman Grassley? The time has expired.
I think it's the convention of the committee that if I've started my question in my time, you may answer the
I was
question.
asking the chairman.
Okay, before I go to Cornyn.
She wants to answer the question, Chairman.
Oh, please go ahead. I thought you said you didn't want to answer it. I'm
Yes, sir.
sorry.
Thank you. Senator Whitehouse, I would be happy to sit down with you regarding any threat to any federal judge in this country. We take threats very seriously. I will set a meeting with you, with Director Serralta of the U.S. Marshals, and I will be there. And we will talk about any threats on federal judges,
Including
who
orchestration.
threaten them or who orchestrate.
This exposes a second layer of risk. If systems tasked with protecting federal authority are uncertain, delayed, or restricted, institutional safety becomes negotiable. That is dangerous. Democracies rely on independent protection systems operating free from hesitation, politics, or selective enforcement.
Them.
Bingo, thank you.
Okay, before Cornyn speaks, I get kind of amused about my Democratic colleagues bringing up Treasury suspicious activity reports regarding Epstein. When Senator Johnson and I issued our Biden family reports in 2020, we used information from these very same type of documents. And you know what? We were criticized by our Democratic colleagues for doing so, and for years they ignored the evidence of the Biden family criminality. I don't think my colleagues can have it both ways.
This moment underscores how accountability gets weaponized instead of honored. When institutional scrutiny becomes a partisan trophy instead of a civic obligation, citizens lose faith. Oversight should defend democracy, not political factions. This hearing isn't just about one exchange, it's about whether power remains accountable when politically uncomfortable truth surfaces. What we witnessed reflects a system struggling between loyalty and law, between selective transparency and genuine institutional courage. Democracies do not collapse suddenly. They fracture quietly when oversight becomes optional and truth becomes negotiable. Accountability must apply to everyone, always. Silence is not strength, and deflection is not leadership. If institutions are to maintain trust, they must answer difficult questions, not run from them. Subscribe to Liberty Report USA, because accountability deserves a voice.